players last year. We've got 4 of them. And we've got NWSL rosters. Should be playing hard. They're not going to want to. So we certainly lost a lot of talent, but we feel we filled that with talented players. We added a couple transfers and 7 different freshmen that are very talented players, but they're just going to need a little bit of time and experience. The more we play, the more experience they have with us. As far as getting back to the College Cup, we certainly have the talent, but we're going to have to stay healthy and go on another run like we did last year.
Okay, well then, boys.
Coach, your team's approaching SEC play, this time defending a championship. It's a gauntlet. How's your team approaching that part of the schedule?
Yeah, I think much like we've done in the past, we're just going to take it game by game. For us, we're not even looking at it as we're trying to defend a title. We're looking at it more as we're trying to go win. It's not about defending. So we kind of use the phrase hunt a lot. For us, we're hunting right now. We're not trying to sit back and defend and retain a title. We're trying to go win one. And so I think it starts with mentality, and then going back to it. It's one game at a time. Our first priority, our only priority right now, is beating Georgia on Thursday.
Hey Coach, what impressed you about the team's attitude Sunday on the field and just how they would respond in the second half after UNC came out strong with that?
Yeah, I loved our mentality. I hoped and I thought that we'd come out like we did, but it was great to see it happen. So I think a lot of teams, and rightfully so, right? You show a team like North Carolina a lot of respect. You've got to respect what they've done, what that program's, the history of that program, what they're doing this year. I mean, they're a super talented team. But for us, we did not want to go into that game, fearing them or being on the back foot. We wanted to show our respect by we're going to come out and give you everything we got. And we didn't change our tactics. Our tactics are to be a hunting team, a pressing team, a hard-working team, and we stayed true to who we were. We came out with belief, and I thought we showed them and the rest of the country that we're a serious contender this year.
Yeah, Coach, let me take a step back from this season real quick. You guys, historically a pretty mediocre program, currently on the longest unbeaten streak in program history. What do you attribute to just this complete turnaround you guys have had?
Yeah, I think I would probably say the biggest thing is just a shift in our mentality, in our mindset. We've got a program full of players right now that have belief, that have pride in the program and themselves and in the team. A group that wants to play for each other and less concerned about individual accolades, knowing those will come with our team's success. But you got a team right now that's that is hungry to compete, and I think that goes a heck of a long ways. So before we worry about tactics or formation or anything like that, it's like we got to be willing to compete and do what it takes, and that's what we have with this group.
Hey Coach, obviously draws are better than losses, but how do you make sure you have these girls turning their hard-fought draws into wins?
Yeah, it's always interesting, right? With the tie, sometimes there's good ties, sometimes they're bad ties, and for me, I look at the North Carolina game, and certainly it's a little bit bittersweet because I would have loved to have come out with a win, and we certainly had a chance there at the end to get that win. But ultimately, a draw against a program like North Carolina that doesn't hurt you, and I think it actually brings us a little bit of confidence, if anything. But certainly we don't want to get in a habit of tying games. We're greedy and we want to win. But what's it going to take? I don't know. It just depends on game to game. But I guess first and foremost, going back to just a mentality and a mindset to be the aggressor, to play on the front foot and be the one kind of pushing the pace of the game. And ultimately, the result's gonna happen. Either win, lose, or draw. But we can't always control that. But what we can control is just our effort and our mentality and willingness to compete and battle and fight for each other.
Coach, I love how you harp on just composure and great teamwork and just the way that the team works together on the field. Back to the UNC game, it was such a great development game, but what aspects of that game and the past games are you going to be bringing forth into SEC play?
Yeah, I think just going back to kind of what I keep hitting on right now is just our willingness and our ability to compete and battle and fight, and once we've got that, now we can kind of worry a little bit more on tactics and style and all that kind of stuff. But really, it just goes back to the mindset. We've got to be willing to compete day in and day out. And it starts with our training and our training habits. I know some of you guys were kind of here at the tail end of our training, but we train hard. We work hard because we know ultimately, our those habits that we form day in and day out are what we're going to fall back on in those games. So I think it starts with our training and our mindset.
Delaney? Hey Coach, just how's the team preparing for Georgia, and what challenge are they going to present as a team?
Yeah, I think we're preparing for Georgia like we would any other team. Whether it's Southern Miss or Georgia or Carolina. We worry about forming good habits in training and working hard and battling and competing. But as far as challenges, Georgia's got a very talented team. Kadani has done a wonderful job with that program in a short amount of time. He's added some very good players, and they're gonna be tough. So similar to North Carolina, they play in a 3-6-1, probably a little bit less kind of athletic and ability to go forward. Instead, I think they spread you out a little bit more, and I think maybe a little bit better at trying to pass and kind of pick you apart that way instead of being as direct as North Carolina. But certainly a challenging game, and but we focus less on Georgia or any opponent and more about being us.
What was the halftime discussion like versus North Carolina? And then is there anything you're looking to change or I guess add on to from that second half going into Georgia?
Yeah, I thought we came in at half. Feeling good about the way the game was going. They were frustrated. Our press, our willingness to tackle and compete. I think perhaps maybe I can't say this for certain, but maybe they didn't realize how athletic we were, how aggressive we were going to be in our defending. But I thought we were able to rattle them a little bit. They did not look like the same team we'd been watching on film that was able to pick teams apart. And I credit that to our our work ethic, our scrappiness. But we came in at halftime and just mentioned that, hey, we're doing good things, but let's not be content. Let's not be complacent. It was a good half, but it was only a half. We still knew we had 45 minutes to go, and we wanted to do a lot of the same. Is really what the message was.
Coach, you guys are currently on a 24 home game win streak. How important has fan involvement in the home field advantage been at this time?
Oh my goodness, huge. There are so many games I can point to. Starting to one of our biggest games last year against Clemson was probably the turning point for us in terms of kind of our crowds that we had coming out. But had a lot of people come out to that Clemson game, but majority of them it seemed like were students, and they were lively, they were active, they were involved, they were rowdy, and it helped that we were scoring goals and making big plays and tackles, and kind of got them into the game and created a bit of an atmosphere. And then from there, we built that. We turned that into a win and just kind of started rolling from there. And the more we won, the more fans started coming out, and the more fans started coming out, the more it helped us, win games. And it just kind of snowballed from there. But without question, there are games this. In this stretch, I think you mentioned 24 games. I think it was 22 wins and 2 ties. Is that right, Stephanie? So the last 2 games were draws, but 22 wins in a row, and then the 2 draws. But no question, we wouldn't be here without the fan support.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, one more. Yeah.
Coach, I just want to ask, because obviously you won a college cup back in your playing days.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever share any stories about that with the players? Any advice that you give your team based off of your experience there?
Yeah, I never won as a player.
Oh, sorry.
No, but that's okay. I wish I did. No, but I had a successful playing career. I was a 2-time All-American, and played on some successful teams at University of Washington, and ended up being a pro player for 6 years in the MLS. But I do. I share stories about my playing days. I share stories about coaching. I did win a championship at Florida State. So when I was a coach at Florida State, we won the national championship in 2014. I've been to the College Cup 3 times, twice with Florida State and once with Alabama. So I do have a lot of life lessons, good and bad, that I share with players.